Hello there and welcome to my look at Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol issues 17 and 18. Once again we're riding the NID train, and with issue 17 you get half of the 10 Termagants, just like we did a few issues back. And of course issue 18 also contains Termagants, but this time it's the other half with all of the bases. So if you're buying these individually, you really do need to make sure you can get hold of these guys, or you're going to miss out on the bases. Starting with issue 17, the very first thing it wants us to do is put together our lovely Tyranid models, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be completely honest, and I don't know why it took me this long, but I'm sort of not using the clippers and the mod line remover that came with the subscription. Instead, I'm using the clippers that I'm more comfortable with. They're a lot better. Only cost around about £7 as well, and I'm also using my hobby knife as well because it's nice and blunt. It does exactly the same job as the mold line remover, but I can use it with a lot more precision. By the look of things, this is also the very last time we're going to be using push fit models, so I'm wondering if they are actually going to ship some glue with us in the next delivery, or we're going to have to go out and buy our own. Thankfully I already have some, but here's the last of the push fit models: 10 more Termagants and 1 Ripper base. As these guys are now ready for painting, I want to take a quick look at the rest of the magazine. And as normal, we've got lots of lovely lore. This time it's going into what life is like in the Imperium, along with death, and how truly horrific this world is, and it's absolutely wonderful. After that, we're going to continue with the Imperium, but this time we're going to be looking at the first founding Space Marine chapters and getting a tiny little bit of information about all of those. And from there, we're going to move on to the Tyranids and learn a little bit about their hive fleets and the difference in appearance and what they can actually do. After we've got all that lovely lore out of the way, we've then got a 2-page short story. As ever, really enjoy these. I'm glad they actually put these things in. They're nice little bathroom reads. After this, we've got some actual rules, looking at command points and stratagems. We did get a couple of cards with those on in the last 2 issues, but this one is just showing a couple of examples of what command points are. And we'll be using the command reroll stratagem in scenario 13, Bring It Down. I'm actually quite glad they've done this, as I often forget about command points, so hopefully this will actually sort of dig itself in this time, rather than me constantly forgetting about it. As ever, we get a couple of example turns, one with Space Marines and one with the Tyranids, just to give you a rough guide on how you should go about using your miniatures. Then the page after that is the usual victory blurb. So for this mission, we've got the Captain in Terminator armor, the 5 Infernus Marines, the 5 Terminators, and the Librarian. On the Tyranid side, we've got the Tyranid Prime, the Psychophage, 10 Termagants, 3 Von Ryan Leapers, and the 5 Barbgorns. So after deployment, the Tyranids got the first turn and basically bum rushed the Space Marines, with the Psychophage getting fairly lucky in the first turn and managing to devour the Librarian in the first turn. In the end, because the Space Marines don't really have that many unit choices, the Tyranids still won, because they had more things to hold objectives with, and they were just slowly creeping points each turn. So, on to issue 18. Straight away is the paint scheme if you're following their guide. Of course, this will take a little bit longer than usual because you are painting 10 models, but they will look lovely when you get to the in-progress point. This is followed by more lore. So again, we're looking at the Imperium with a sneaky little look at Necromunda, a fantastic game that you also by Games Workshop. And we've got a little look at the Catachan Death Worlds. This is then followed by more Space Marine stuff. We're looking at a couple of the Space Marine planets, the Space Wolves and the Blood Angels, and then some of the successor chapters, which are chapters that come after the first founding chapters. This is followed by a couple of pages of Tyranid lore, which is a little bit of a shame, because I was hoping for another short story, because they generally are quite fun little reads. So next up, we've got more abilities to read about, so we can actually get to use our models better in the game and understand how they work, add more tactics to the actual overall game. And so we get to put them in use. We're now on scenario 14, Monster Hunt. Of course, we've got a couple of example turns, but once again, we're free to do whatever we want. We're no longer shackled by the actual rules or the examples, and it really does want us just to get the feel for the game. Of course, ended with some victory blurb. So how did the monster hunt go? Well, it went fairly well for the Space Marines for once. They actually managed to get the first turn, meaning they actually got at least one round of shooting before they got completely swarmed and attacked by all those lovely little Gribblies. It was a bloody battle though, with the Von Ryan Leapers taking care of the Infernus Marines, the Librarian taking care of one of the Termagant units, and the Winged Prime being killed by the Terminator Captain. In the end though, the Barbgaunts tipped the balance for the Nids, as they just sat there accumulating objective victory points. It is pretty hard for the Space Marine player to actually win with victory points, basically because there's so few units in these scenarios for them to use. I think we're getting towards the end now, so we're going to get like larger games, so hopefully it'll be more balanced. Then we get a sneak peek at the next two factions, which are some Eldar and these Chaos Space Marines. And finally, a quick look at our last two issues for Tyranids and Space Marines and what we're getting. Overall, there's been nothing wrong with these two issues, another 10 Termagants added to the pile. But this is just a bog standard one, and I'm far more excited about the next two issues. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do apologise for my voice changing halfway through. I currently got a cold, which is why this didn't actually come out on the Saturday, which it normally does. But this Saturday, I've also got the premium set to put up. So if you want to see that, give the channel a subscribe, give this video a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you again so much for watching, and goodbye for now.